The Studebaker Collection has had a number of homes over the years. Its first location was in the company's administration building. So we see here in this picture from 1940, it is labeled the Studebaker Museum and was found on the western end of the main floor, right at the corner of Bronson and Lafayette Streets. When Studebaker closed, it formally gave its vehicle collection to the city of South Bend. The city council accepted the gift in ordinance number 4879-66, which took effect in August of 1966, which recognized this generous gift to the city of South Bend. The Studebaker collection remained on display in the Studebaker Administration Building for the next few years and was staffed on a volunteer basis by members of the Michiana chapter of the Studebaker Drivers Club. The Administration Building, however, was never viewed as more than a temporary solution. As the calendar turned to 1970, plans called for a new home for the Studebaker collection in South Bend's dynamic showplace, what would soon to become South Bend Century Center. A highlight of South Bend's new Civic Center was a portion called Discovery Hall, a space designed for educational, technical, and historical displays that will assist people of all ages to discover the community's past, present, and future. Included is the city's Studebaker collection of historic vehicles. As plans began taking place for the new Century Center and Discovery Hall Museum, Studebaker Drivers Club kicked off their fundraising campaign in the November 1974 issue of their magazine, Turning Wheels. Club members were introduced to Brainy, Tilly, and Dude, three fundraising characters, if you will, who sought to help raise funds for the new Studebaker Century Center special. Construction began a short time later, and soon it was time to move the Studebaker Historic Vehicle Collection into the brand new Discovery Hall at South Bend Century Center down on the shores of the St. Joseph River. South Bend's new Century Center was dedicated on November 20th, 1977, with ribbon-cutting ceremonies and even some souvenir ribbons and scissors to commemorate the occasion. Grand opening events took place throughout November of 1977, highlighted by a special grand opening party welcoming all former employees of the Studebaker Corporation and their immediate families. The grand opening employees reunion celebrated the 125th anniversary of the founding of the Studebaker Company, give or take a few months, and all employees received a special ribbon noting their service to the company. The grand opening was a rousing success as thousands visited the new Discovery Hall Museum over those first 3 days. The new Discovery Hall Museum featured a state-of-the-art facility, fully climate-controlled with museum environments throughout. However, interpretation was still a couple years off, as for its first few years, the exhibits are exactly what you would see here, a large room showcasing the vehicles, but without the interpretive exhibits that would come just a few years later. The new Century Center welcomed over 100,000 people during its first 100 days of operation. Its biggest draw was clearly the new Discovery Hall, with over 12,000 people coming in just over the first 3 months. In 1979, construction began on Discovery Hall's comprehensive exhibit plan, which incorporated the Studebaker Historic Vehicle Collection as well with other artifacts from South Bend's industrial history. Discovery Hall Museum's layout allowed for the display of such large artifacts like this Perkins windmill, as we see museum staff and volunteers working diligently, maybe not quite as safely as you might think, to install this large artifact. A full-scale interpretation of South Bend's famous Bonnie Doon drive-ins is shown here, complete with 3 vehicles from the Studebaker collection. Large-scale artwork and backdrops helped illustrate South Bend as it was in years gone by, complete with a 1912 Studebaker Flanders, a Studebaker Electric, and also a Studebaker Junior goat wagon in the background. In April of 1982, Museum Director Gus Saros announced that Discovery Hall had received accreditation from the American Association of Museums. Discovery Hall was only the 8th Indiana museum so accredited. A tip of the cap to all those who made this possible, the staff, the volunteers, even Brainy, Tilly, and Dude, for their part in making the Studebaker collection have a new home at South Bend's Discovery Hall.